Hello, good morning, and Merry Christmas. Mele Kalikimaka, as we say in Japanese. So I'm Guy Kawasaki. I am in Watsonville, California, coming to you live with my friends Peg Fitzpatrick and Jeff C. And the three of us are the Remarkable People senior management, I guess.
Hey, we got a promotion too.
That's right. Awesome.
Yay!
And-
Everybody gets a promotion.
And we dropped a new episode of Remarkable People a few hours ago. It is Catherine Price, and it is about the power of fun, if you can believe that.
Perfect for the holidays.
Yes, it
That's
is.
right.
So it was really
That's
good.
right.
And if you haven't listened to it yet, make sure that you guys go to remarkablepeople.com and go ahead and subscribe while you're there. And we made it super easy for you. You can actually go right here to this QR code and just click on it, and you can go right there, hold up your phone to this, and it'll take you over there. And if you leave us a rating review, it's awesome. It helps out the podcast. And this is a great one, like Peg was saying, for the holidays, because once again, one of my favorites, because it was just fascinating. I like this topic. It was really great.
Jeff has 52 favorites.
I know.
a year.
It's every time I get a new one. So I think a lot of people feel the same way. But our first question was, when was the last time you really laughed? As you can tell, we laugh on this show mostly
30
like before.
seconds ago.
Right. It's true. But when was the last time you really, really laughed?
I make myself
Like laugh
really
out
laugh
loud?
all the time.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of like it almost hurt. I think it was, I went to it was a Kevin James or a Jim Gaffigan like comedy show back when we could do live events. And I remember going out of there because my face hurt because I was laughing so hard. I mean, those are the kind of things I think we're talking about.
Yes. Little kids make you laugh like that all the time because they're hysterical. So I have recently laughed very hard because I have a little 2-year-old person and she's hysterical. She's not only is she funny, like she's 2.5. She's almost 2.5. She actually makes jokes and she makes a lot of faces. So she's like, she makes sarcastic faces and she's 2. So
She can talk already?
oh my God, she speaks in little sentences. She's so good.
Really?
But her pronunciation on everything isn't 100% perfect because she's only 2.5. But then that's also so cute because she, she tries to say all the names of all the different dinosaurs and it comes out like whatever. And what was the one she was saying? Oh my God, she was saying, I can't even remember what it was. There was a dinosaur name that I couldn't say. So I just made up extra stuff because you know how dinosaur names are just like blah, blah. So
Rex.
I said, I was like, Diplococomacalo, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, mm-hmm. Like she felt that name, even though I just made it up. She was like into it. So little people, oh my God, they're the best. So during the holidays, I hope everybody gets a chance. Who knows though? This year might be not, but little people are sure funny.
Mm-hmm. We should have her on the podcast, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. So what about you, Guy?
She's at the pre-stage where she's starting to do tantrums, but she's so freaking cute and funny, and she stops her feet and she goes, no. And then I start laughing because honestly, it's funny. And she's like, no, not funny. And I'm like, it's funny. She listens to the podcast because your mom listens. So
yeah, Catherine and I had a laughed out loud moment in this podcast. So one place in her book, she talks about the value of improv comedy and just to be able to do that kind of stuff on the fly. And it's always the scenario is kind of but. So somebody says something and then you have to complete the thought or add to it.
And then,
And so, and I've encountered this as an author myself. So as an author, you've written the book maybe 2 years ago, but someone just read it yesterday. So someone references something in the book and you're sitting there going, what the hell is he talking about? What the hell is she talking about? I don't remember even writing that. So this moment happened with Catherine and I when I said, so in the book, she says, a very good example is you start off with a sentence like, I'm so hot in here. And then the person is supposed to go and respond to that, right? And she uses that as an example. So I opened up the interview. I said, Catherine, I am so hot in here. And she goes, well, I don't know, guy. I mean, like, I'm cold. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, oh my God, Catherine.
The
It was a,
softball. Yeah.
That's a classic theater thing too. When
Yeah.
you're in theater, you do a lot of those kind of games because sometimes you get stuck on stage and the people that you're
yeah,
with forget their lines
Hmm.
and you have to carry the show. I don't know if that
Yeah.
ever happened to you, Jeff, but it happened to me before.
Yep.
And
I
then the
have.
person I was in the scene with left. So I was on stage by myself and I made up an entire monologue.
So speaking of
It
improv,
happens.
guy, have you ever gone to done one of your speeches and like your slides didn't work or something, and you had to carry it
never.
the entire time?
I'm flawless.
Okay.
Guy actually does the kind of presentations 90% of the time where it's there a guideline, not he's never showing you
Hmm.
step by step, except for maybe some of the art of social presentations. But for the most part, they're stories.
Right.
So you can make up a new one
yeah,
every time and
I
get
I
had
did
three or
better.
see
four
Peg do
words
that one time. So
Yeah,
at
make up
social
stuff.
media marketing world or
yeah,
something, right?
yeah, it just didn't work, and she had to
But it's
go.
true when you're a speaker, though, the thing that you learn is that the audience doesn't know what you were going to say. So as long as you
Yep.
say something that's on topic and really great, they're just like, that was amazing. And as soon as you learn that as a speaker, it really helps. You get off of that, oh no, I forgot to mention blah, blah, blah. Well,
Hmm.
they don't know that.
Yeah. Alan says
Yeah.
improv is great for customer service. That yeah, I mean, I know a lot of. I have some friends who are improv comedians, and they actually are employed a lot of times by, companies to come in and teach their sales team and their customer service team how to use these tips, like Catherine mentioned in this podcast, to continue the conversation and use those, because you never know what's going to happen in customer service. I've seen some of those things coming through. Oh my gosh.
Can
Yeah.
I tell you a customer service story? This is freaking amazing. Just pisses me off to no end. So
Uh-oh.
maybe it is a Verizon employee listening out there.
Uh-oh, here we go.
So I have a Verizon business account, and it has about 7 lines because there's 6 of us, and then there's an iPad, and then there's a internet access point. So I have 7 or 8 lines, right? So every once in a while, I go and I check at my Verizon, my 7 or 8 lines. I want to customize, I want to check on, can I turn this phone in, whatever. So a few weeks ago, I go in and it literally shows me one phone, my phone, nothing else. You cannot get to anything else. So 3 days of calling, and then, Verizon, God forbid, they're not open on Saturdays and Sundays because nobody uses their phones on Saturdays and Sundays. So why should they be open? I mean, that makes perfect sense. So you got to wait till Monday, and then you're put on this perpetual hold. Due to holiday traffic and unforeseen circumstances, the wait time is now 67 minutes. Would you like to hold, or would you like to click on this text to be instantly connected with our digital assistant? I was like, okay, try that digital assistant. I'm thinking digital assistant is somebody who's a human in the Philippines or someplace or India, and we're gonna, do this chat. But no, it's the freaking AI system. So what's your problem? Account management. Oh, to get account management, you click here. Like, okay. Anyway, so the bottom line is I finally get this human, maybe the only human working at Verizon. And he says, oh, yeah, this happened to somebody else last week too, where he can't see all his accounts. And I had never encountered it before, and took about 5 days to figure it out. And, the way you can fix it immediately is for each of your 8 accounts, open up a separate account.
Oh,
And I'm like
Yes,
having this freaking out of body experience. Huh?
yeah, that's a perfect solution. You fixed it
Yeah.
yourself by opening
Yeah.
multiple accounts.
So you
Great.
want to check on multiple accounts, you sign in 8 times with 8 different I mean, I said, surely you're jesting. So, well, what happens if I'm a corporate account and I have 500 phones in my corporation? I'm going to have 500 accounts. And so he said, yeah, here's the order number, here's the job order number, blah, blah, blah. And it might take 5 or 6 days for us to get back to you. So I don't,
not happy with
Phones work
Verizon.
though? Was everybody's line working or no?
yeah, everything is working. I mean, I don't know what the billing is like because what do I do? Sign in 8 times and add up the monthly fee? I don't even. And then I told the guy, listen, if you're telling me I have to create 8 accounts for these 8 lines, I'm just going to go to AT&T. And
Yeah.
he didn't even bat an eyelid. I don't think he really cares. So I don't know.
So
Luckily,
on
push comes to
that,
shove. Wait, I'm not
Service is
finished. I'm not
gone.
finished on my
Customer service
diatribe.
is
I know the topic of this podcast is having fun, and this is not having fun. But um,
dead.
yeah,
push comes to shove. There was a woman who was on the podcast about 6 months ago who's on the board of directors of Verizon. So push comes to shove, I'm going to reach out to her. She gave me a VIP number, but now when you call that VIP number, you're in Verizon Fios land. So I'm like explaining this whole thing to this person on the VIP line, and at the end she goes, "Oh, I'm in Verizon Fios. You really need to talk to someone in Verizon Wireless." Like, oh my God, I just want to kill myself. So now back
This
to
is
having fun.
not
having
This
fun.
is the opposite of fun.
Yes, on the podcast, it's a great way to have fun. It's
Funny
and it's a funny show actually. So not only did they have fun, it was very funny. Not like the Verizon story, but there was a lot of talk about phones, and I know
Yep.
Guy wants to take a digital detox from maybe Verizon. But when was the last time you had a digital detox? I mean, I think a lot of people are going to start doing them at the beginning of the year. You know, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What does that mean, and how long? And have you guys ever done
Yep.
one?
I can tell you with great pride. Go ahead, Peg.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I can tell you with great pride. I interviewed Catherine about, I don't know, 10 days ago. And ever since I interviewed her and we talked about digital detox and phones, I have made a new habit, and I do not sleep with the phone in the same room anymore. And I've done that for about 10 days straight, which is a new record. I have put it in another room so that it's too much trouble to just roll over and, you know, check Google News in the middle of the night because I used to do that every night. So now I don't do that. So that's one thing I learned from Catherine Price.
What
But
about you?
are you sleeping better now too because of that?
And I still wake up at 4:30 or 4 o'clock. I think as you get old, you just don't sleep as long. Although I do
Right.
go to bed at
But
9.
you're also surfing all day, so it's
Yeah.
not like you're
Yeah.
not doing nothing.
So what about you,
No,
Peg?
I-
How about you?
I have my phone in my room charging, so I actually
Yeah.
need to start doing this again too because I have been so bad. I'm like waiting for a specific email the guy knows about, and it's like I'm obsessed with it in my sleep. I'm mostly fine during the day, and at night I just am like, did it come in the middle of the night? And do I have it?
Well,
But I don't, and
once you get that email, you're going to sleep very well for a
I'm
long
gonna
time.
sleep well, but right now it keeps. I'm fine during the day, and then at night I wake up and I'm like, is it there? So anyway, I do need to do the same thing because it does, as we learned a long, long time ago from Ariana Huffington, the queen of sleep and getting
Thriving.
people off of thrive, how to thrive. It really does. If it's there, if your phone is near you, you will pick it up. And I think younger generations sleep with them under their pillows and they're texting all night. I can't even imagine being a teenager now. If it was me and I was a teen, I would be obsessed. I would be doing makeup all day, doing Instagram. I mean, I know I would. I know I would be like DMing. God only knows. I would be in so much trouble with so many people. It would just be too much communication and I would be all over it.
That's funny.
I was rocking the landline. You know, my sister and I were like the queens of the phone back in the day. So
You know what else? So I've been on this detox path right now with Catherine, and then Dan Pink was interviewed, and then BJ Cobb. I mean, these are interviews that are coming up. So now I have a whole new practice too, which is after 5 p.m., I schedule email 5 p.m. Pacific. Any email that I send out is scheduled to go out the following morning at 9 a.m. So
awesome.
nobody gets email from me after 5 p.m. Pacific. And on the weekends, nobody, starting at Fridays on 5 p.m., no one gets an email from me until Monday at 9 a.m. So
I think
that's my new commitment.
Like after all these years of working in social media, it's so hard to like backtrack and be like,
Yep.
okay, I need to be mentally healthier. And that's what I started doing earlier in the year, is not doing email on the weekend because of that. Because part of working at home, like you get obsessed with your email, and I hate it. I
Right.
hate being obsessed with email. So that's one of the things that I like about SaneBox. It's the only thing that I found where you can set your weekend reminders and you don't have to go in all the time like it's a vacation or a
Mm-hmm.
special
Yeah.
holiday. It's just Saturday
Yeah.
and Sunday, which come every week. So in SaneBox, you can set it, and then it does the do not disturb every
I
weekend for
Not
you.
insane
I
box, insane box. Because you said
Sane.
insane box.
Sane.
I I
In
I have I
space.
have
Same.
I have
Mhm.
Madison Box, and the way Madison Box works is that um, my commonly known email address is guykawasaki@gmail. So I have authorized her into that account, and then she looks at those emails and figures out what she can handle, what can be ignored, what's spam, and what I have to handle. But now I told her, don't send me any email after 5 for me to handle. So she's on my schedule. So she doesn't send me stuff at night or on the weekends too, which means
Mhm.
that, I mean, I like have double coverage here. It's like I have my vaccine 1, vaccine 2, and I'm boosted already from email.
Mhm.
So that's the Madison Box.
And I
Kathy,
think that ultimately that's going to be good. I think ultimately, everybody on our team doing the same thing will help all of us
Yeah.
be better Monday through Friday.
yeah.
But here's the problem with, speaking of teams. So we communicate a lot by text, and sometimes I get inspired at after 5 p.m. and I want to text the two of you, and I never know. I know you are in one, Jeff's in 7 p.m. and Peg's in 8 p.m. when I'm at 5 p.m. So do you guys, can I send it at any time of day and know that it's not going to disturb you because you have configured your phones not to disturb you during disturbing hours?
Yeah, I have
I
mine
do
set that
have
way.
to there's that. Yeah, after like 7 for me.
I can
Yeah.
send it
Yeah.
anytime for you
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish that your phone would let you schedule text though. Wouldn't it be great if you
Yeah.
could just
Yeah.
why isn't that, hello Apple, can someone make an app developers that does that, where you, because I looked for that too, just like digital, when you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to be more
Yep.
healthy and more conscious of your team, especially when you're in different time zones. Like I would sometimes the same, like I try to just wait until later because I don't want to send you something at 5 in the morning when it's 8 o'clock my time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Right.
starting to work on things. I don't want to text you, but now I know your phone's not even there, so I don't
Yeah.
have to feel bad about it.
Right.
So, I mean, how hard could it be to make messages work where you could schedule the outgoing message, right? I mean,
I think it
that
should be easy, right?
can't. Yeah, but I think that Tim Cook and Phil Schiller have personal assistants who have personal assistants, so they're never affected by this.
Mm-hmm.
But their goal on all phones and all the social media is to keep us on the device. They
Yeah.
want us. They don't
Well,
want us to have a digital detox. They want us
That's
to
true.
want our phone all the time.
not
So,
if we're all
So,
unhappy.
well, it's getting that way.
hey.
So, Kathy says this over on LinkedIn. She goes, "It's way easier to select a single app to detox from one at a time. Slicing detox into small, manageable pieces makes it easier." And I
Yep.
totally agree. Like after I heard this podcast, which I was saying, he's putting his phone in another room. So I have my I have white noise that I sleep to, and so I have to
Yeah.
have my phone in there. I need to get a white noise machine, but I have
What is
turned
white
off.
noise? Like Donald Trump's speeches?
Kind of. That
I've been robbed. I've been robbed. This is fraud.
no, that would not put me to sleep. So what I have that going, but what I've done is I've turned my alarms off of my phone because I used to have my alarm on my phone.
Yeah.
I just moved it to my watch, and that's helped because, like Guy, I like to read news, and so I would wake up and the first thing I would do is read the news, which is not a great way to start the day. So
It's the worst way. It's better than it was, but now COVID is, we're
oh
in
yeah.
year 100 of COVID, so the news just keeps
So
going.
so
I
why do
would
you
say
think
if you want
it's
a good digital detox, if you guys need a break, there's a White House special, and you can get a tour of all the White House decorations with the First Lady, and it's really nice.
oh
That is
Melania?
like a nice holiday. Yeah,
Not the red trees. You mean this year's
the
for
this year. Yes,
Oh, okay.
with Dr. Jill Biden slash First Lady. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
because I
She
don't
did it
want to
on
see bloody Christmas trees.
Yeah.
nope.
So,
It's classic. It's so beautiful.
so why do you think it is so hard to take a break from screens? We'd love the audience to know why do we struggle with this so much? One, we know it's the algorithm that they have built
Yep.
to do this to
Yep.
us, but why
And even
is it?
email, though, like having digital jobs makes you tied to email and text messages. So it's very hard to take a break. When before you would just go home from work and work would be gone. Like
Yeah.
you go home and you're like, okay. And you have like 12 hours where your mind can like have downtime. It could maybe problem solve some things that you were working on at work, but like with no break from
You
it,
can
it doesn't give
you
your
can watch
brain a break from it.
Yellowstone.
I haven't watched
I
that yet.
started
Is it
watching
good?
it. It's beautiful.
Yellowstone is great. Yellowstone is great. I talked to someone in Montana yesterday. I said, "So is that how it really is?" He goes, "Yep, that's how it is. There's some strong people here in Montana. Oh my God." So
So
Sounds like New Hampshire and
So
Texas.
one of the things, and I think this ties back into the podcast and what Guy does is like we tease him all the time. He's surfing all day. He surfs a lot, but that's something away from screens. And I think that you and Catherine talked about this. You
He
know,
brings his iPhone.
right? But he's tracking his stuff.
there have been times my wife has called me when I'm in the water and my watch rings.
Well, but you're not consuming content on the surfboard. You know what I mean? You're not watching like
No.
Netflix or something. So I think, and she talked about a lot in the podcast that and we're going to get into this about flow and how fun and flow work together, but how she uses music and she's going back and learning the guitar. You went back at a relatively, haven't been a surfer all your life. This is something new that you've done.
I was
And-
old. You can say it.
No, I didn't say that. But it's something that's away from screens. It's an activity that's away from screen. Peg likes to cook and she does all these, crafty stuff, and I do wood carving and I start doing, all that stuff. I think we have to make ourselves go away from screens, and there's a lot of that inside of this podcast that they talk about.
Speaking of,
But we're getting to the point where we can combine a whole bunch of our shows together to make this like ultimate how to digital detox and how to
Right.
be more
Yeah.
creative. Because Julia Cameron, if taking two different podcasts, and one actually is BJ Fogg that's coming up, so that'll be a future one. But his is also how to build good habits, tiny habits, which is why I recommended the book because it goes so well with other things. But
you'll
starting
be
the day
real
with
happy
Julia
with that one.
Yeah, with Morning Pages by Julia Cameron. Amazing way to start the day. Every day, you just write things that you're grateful for, or just 3 pages of stuff. And then BJ Fogg, one of the tips that I picked up from him is the first, which I thought you were going to say, Guy, was your thing, was when you wake up first thing in the morning, when you put your feet down, you say, this is going to be a great day.
Yep.
Woo! I'm already really positive, but I still do it, and I think it does.
You listen to BJ Fogg already?
No, I had the book before I recommended him as a guest.
Okay. I was gonna say
So
I
some of
didn't
these
release
people,
it.
I've read the book before. I recommended BJ Fogg and Maxime Bega before you read them.
Yeah.
Those were people that I found.
So speaking of detox, okay, I have to take my son to get his booster right now. So you guys can continue, but
Okay.
it's not a fun thing, but it's a great thing. Everybody, please get vaccinated and boosted, okay? Because maybe you won't get a severe case of COVID, but you could get infected and then pass it on to somebody who gets a severe case.
Right.
So
Yeah.
for the
And
benefit
your
of
flu shot.
society,
And
and
a
your
flu
flu
shot.
shot.
We're all boosted
And then-
and vaxxed here. So
And then if you have to sleep with your iPhone, listen to our podcast in the middle of the night.
and leave a rating review. That would be great. So
Why you're
All right,
sleeping.
I gotta take off.
All
Okay,
right.
bye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas. That's right. Merry Christmas.
So Peg, while we're talking about this stuff, so I want to say there's this little hack that I've done. I'm using technology to help me escape technology, and this is something that I've done to remind myself that I need to stay away from screens and be present. I actually on my iPhone, my iWatch, I changed when I'm on weekends when I've shut down everything and I'm supposed to be focused, not reading email. I changed the watch face to the Mickey Mouse face. So every time I look at that, I remind myself, don't check the email. Don't, be present with your family, that kind of stuff. So that's a nice little hack there to
That's
use it.
a good hack. It's like a mental, you're getting past, you can serotonin boost from past Disney visits. You're like,
Yes, right.
remember when I went to Disney?
Right, and to
I wasn't
relax and not, because a lot of times I check my watch because I'm like, okay, this conversation is going long, or whatever. And I'm like, oh, be present. So that's what I use for that. So anyway,
It is hard. And then there's the iPhone effect. If somebody else looks at their phone, then everybody looks at their phone. I think during the holidays, went back to what I think it was Kathy that said about going app by app. Deleting the app is a great way to just digital detox.
hmm
You can delete Instagram off your phone for the weekend. It doesn't delete your Instagram account. It just takes the app off your phone so you're not checking it. You could take your email off your phone.
I know a lot of people have done
Ta-da! I
that.
started doing that on the weekend.
And I've turned off all
Delete the email.
those little red notification things. I turned off all notifications because I hate seeing
Yes,
those. Like you have to
yes,
get back to those. It gives you that little bit of anxiety. So I turned off all the
yes. Yep,
notifications. So
yep. It's really smart. There's no reason, unless you have somebody in your family with health emergencies, you really don't need notifications on for stuff. It does cause anxiety. They're built to make us feel that, oh no. And
right.
when it's related to work, it just makes it so much more stressful. So I'm glad as a team, we're like all on the same page for like no nights and weekends
Mhm.
now and trying to be really extra aware of like contacting other people.
A- And
It's
and
good. It's
and you can set things so like in do not disturb that like my kids stuff will go through. Like they even know
yeah,
like when I have it on do not disturb like right now during the show, if they call and hang up and call again, it automatically goes and it'll break through my do not disturb. So if it's an
right,
emergency, I can get to it. So they all know that.
right,
So there's tools that you just have to dig a little bit to to help manage that better. So I think that's
right.
really cool.
It's worth finding them. That's
Yeah.
why Sane Box, not insane, but SANE
That's funny.
Box has been a great tool. I know you use it too for
Yeah.
email because it saves your email. It puts them in the do not disturb. If you want to, you could check those,
hmm
but they just move them back into your inbox when
hmm
your time that you've suggested is up. So start like as a goal, if you guys are watching this, listen to the podcast and then for 2022, make some better choices for yourself for email and notifications. You
Yeah.
don't have to have them popping up. If it's during work, obviously that's different. Then you need to be present.
hmm
If you'd like to keep your job, stay present during
That's
work
right.
hours.
Very
But
important.
then on the
Important tip
weekends,
there.
make sure that yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Well, this and
Um,
SaneBox, by the way, a little sneak peek. That SaneBox, I told you about
yeah,
Michael Hyatt, who is actually going to be one of our guests coming up
upcoming.
this
Yeah.
year. He's the one where I learned it from. So, yeah. So if you haven't checked out that, make sure you do that. That's going to be a
Yeah,
fun
we
one
have
coming up.
so many good shows on specific topics. If you want to be a writer, if you want to like, but these are just like, this isn't for any specific industry and this is just like any human with a
Right.
smartphone, which is
Right.
almost everybody. Because back to the main topic, which Catherine did write, she's written multiple books, but this one is the how to have more fun. But her last one was how to break up with your smartphone, and that was
Right.
like tied in
Yeah.
to the podcast as well. But having fun and just really like laughing, like if you're feeling stressed, look for a comedy. Like we all have our favorite like even just holiday movies or
hmm
just favorite like movies that you know are going to make you laugh. Like um what
Yeah.
Jeff, what are like your top two movies if you want to just
I
laugh?
love. I
If you're just
love. I still every time with the Griswolds, the Christmas Vacation, when he's up and that's that really sad moment where he's looking at the home movies and then his wife pulls the thing and he falls out of the attic. Every time it busts me up, just every
Chevy
time.
Chase is
Yes.
funny.
And then there's all sorts of movies that I watch with our family. I mean, I still because I had such good memories of like even the stop motion animation with like Rudolph. I
Yeah.
loved when I was able to introduce that to my kids, and I know you're doing
Yeah.
that with your granddaughter, and
Yeah.
the Christmas songs, all that stuff. So yeah, it's
I know it's so good. Did you watch Klaus? Have you watched the animated special
mm-mm,
Klaus?
mm-mm.
Oh my
Is it
God, you have
good?
to watch it.
Okay, I'll do that.
It was nominated for an Academy Award. I don't know if it won, but it should have.
Yeah,
It's
I'll check it out
amazing.
because I love animation. So
Yeah,
let's
he
go
does wood
back.
carving.
I know. Yes, there's a really cool Instagram guy who I watch who actually animates his wood carving. He makes these little mini figures that he's
How
just amazing.
talented could one person be?
Oh, I know. It's just amazing that he does that.
That
So
is crazy.
anyway, back to the next question because this goes back to it, and this, having more fun. But I thought it was really cool, and I hadn't seen somebody tie this in together like Catherine did on the podcast, talking about fun and flow and how those two things work together. And one of the things, it's like, how do you guys get into flow mode? Like what gets you into the flow of like creativity? I know for me, it's music. I have a creativity playlist that I actually have on Spotify that I've actually shared out before.
Sure.
But I've got all this.
To that.
Yeah, because it's so it's a lot of instrumental music because I like.
Yeah, that's all. My creative music has to be no lyrics,
and it's a lot of
lyrics,
movie stuff. It's a lot of movie soundtracks. It's a lot of that music,
Good.
not even musicals, because musicals I start singing and I get distracted.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I have that, and then I also use an app that Eric Fisher told me about from his Beyond the To-Do List podcast, is Brain FM. And it's supposed to have these scientific things that sends these brain waves. And so when I do my prayer and meditation in the morning, I use that. And then when I need to really focus, like on writing, I'll use that sometimes. And I found it really, really helpful. So
yeah. I have playlists on Spotify too that are no lyric, no words, just background music. It really does help. And I like to do my morning pages because that does help me clear my mind. Sometimes I have to switch tasks. If you're doing something too long and you just kind of get out of the flow and you feel like you're not doing your best work, sometimes it's good to just switch to do something else for a little bit and then go back in, like maybe go look for some inspiration, but just be careful you don't go to TikTok and be there for 2 hours.
So that's also
then,
yeah, it's the Pomodoro technique, I think it is.
Yep.
And I actually have this, and I do this when I'm editing guys' podcasts. So it has a timer for 30 minutes, and something about the physical buttons. And when that's up, you have 5 minutes that you go over and you take a break, and so you can get up and walk around. I wish this would have it so you could change the times, but it's preset to 30 minutes and 5 minute stuff. But I find that really helpful because I need to get up and move. That's my thing. It's like don't sit too much. So. But that you're right. That getting up and changing where you're looking or you're sitting or doing something different really does make a difference.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and drinking a lot of water, which sounds stupid,
because you have to pee.
Drinking a lot of water, well, it does make you get up.
It makes
and take
you
breaks.
get up. Yeah.
But also making sure that you're hydrated helps you focus better.
It does. Yeah.
Older I get, the more I realize the key to life is drinking a lot of water.
So what we would love for you guys to do. Oh, go ahead.
I've said it like it makes your skin better, your everything better. It's weird, but drinking a lot of water is good.
So Jonathan Perez is here again. He shows up every week. Thanks, Jonathan, over on LinkedIn. He goes, Kurt Russell makes for a great Santa these days. Very true. There's a great podcast I'm listening to. It's called The Christmas Movie Wars, and it's about how Hallmark and Lifetime and then Netflix came along and all this competition they had. It's fascinating. And he also says he uses a 30-minute hourglass to do the same thing. That's nice. Yeah, that's a great point
prettier.
Too. Yeah.
Cool.
So one of the things we would love for you guys to do is let us know your hacks and techniques for getting away for the phone, for getting into flow. And you guys can go sign up to the Remarkable People community, and we pop in there and you guys can ask questions. You can tell us your tips. You can actually suggest guests that you think we should have on the podcast. Just go to bit.ly/Remarkable People Circle. That's bit.ly/Remarkable People Circle to find out and join in. It's totally free. It's a lot of fun. So you guys need to join in there and check it out. And this is for our final question, Peg, is how can we be more present during the holidays? Not get more presents, but be more present during the holiday. So what's your, because you got grandkids running around, you got your kids there. I mean, you've got a house full of people, you're cooking, you're doing all this stuff. How are you present during this time?
I think one of the things that I try to think about is like, you want to take a lot of pictures and then you have your phone in your hand. So it's like tricky. So maybe using a camera, an actual camera, instead of your smartphone, because then you won't have your phone in your hand because everybody that you want to see will be there right then. So just not having your phone in your hand for stuff, I think is really important. We like to put music on all over. We have like the Sonos speakers. So we're streaming Christmas music 24/7 here. Pretty much. We listen to every Christmas song that exists this holiday season, but it's actually nice because it really does get you into into the mood. So just having like holiday sounds.
Hmm.
I also like candles. We have artificial trees because 2 people in our family are allergic. So we have pine scented candles, like Yankee candles that are like Christmas tree scents. So it really brings in like all the senses, unless
Hmm.
there's some cookies baking, which is entirely possible. So just like making sure that and then also not even thinking about the presents, but just enjoying the time with your family, not like, let's go back to the Charlie Brown,
Hmm.
it's not the things that you buy from a store kind of deal. And just enjoying all the parts of it that
Yeah.
are just not even just the people parts, enjoying those things.
Like when you sit down for your Christmas dinner, make sure you put your phone somewhere else. Make a basket where everyone can put their phones and they can be present. I think for me, it's always being present during the meal because you can talk, you can laugh, you can share stories.
Yeah.
That's really cool. You talked about senses, and one of the things I've been doing for the last 5 years, and this sounds really silly, but I get from the people who do professional Santas, who are professional Santas, they
Mhm.
have like a website and stuff. I get beard balm that smells like either candy canes or I have like right now it's like a Christmas pie that I wear it I do it after Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving, all the way after Christmas. But it reminds me, and it reminds everybody gets in the car and goes, "Oh, you smell so good." And it's just because you can remember when you were like your kids. I mean, when you were a kid, like what grandma's house smelled like, what that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. I remember my dad's Old Spice stuff that he used
Oh
to
yeah.
slap on, and those are
Your
scents are an
your
important
peppermint
part.
beard oil might help you get into the flow better because peppermint is a scent that is supposed to help your brain focus.
Yeah, maybe that's
Have you
why.
noticed that it helps you focus?
Oh yeah, I'm focused all the time. No, I'm focused on eating all the Christmas cookies is what I'm
You're like,
focused on.
"What?"
Yeah. The other thing, if you want, if your kids, and we do this, because kids have that draw to phones. One of the things we have started doing is we play Jackbox games. I don't know if you know about those, but they're really funny. They're like board games on steroids. But it shows up on the TV, and then you enter your answers. Everybody has their smartphone, and they enter, and it is hilarious. There's ones where you can draw. It's like win, lose, or draw almost, and it shows up on the
Yeah.
screen. It is so much
Sometimes we
fun to
do
play.
heads up. If you ever done
Yes.
the heads up game.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun to do. It's kind of like that, but it's only on the big screen, and it's a way to get everybody involved on
Yeah.
playing a game, and you don't have to worry about crowding around like a little table game or something. But it's a lot of fun, and even the grumpy adults go, "Oh, this is stupid." They'll end up playing it and having a blast. So we do that.
Our family's a little competitive with games, so sometimes we avoid them.
Really?
Especially if it's a new game. If it's
Yeah.
a new game where we have to learn the rules and read it, everybody is like, "Stop talking. We have to read the rules." It's like,
You would
"Okay,
like this one
this
because
already
it's
is stressful."
simple enough, and there's also it's so sometimes luck has something to do with it. Like they'll spin the wheel, and like you'll be winning, and then all of a sudden you'll go to be losing, and other people. It's just
Yeah.
fun. It's a lot of fun.
You
So
know what we haven't done in a while, is cards. Card games are so fun,
mhm.
and just like a great family activity. And I have this one game that I got a long time ago, and we still have it. It's called LCR. It's a dice game, left,
Mm,
center, and right. And you have dice, and you roll them. Everybody puts $1 in, or you don't have to do it for money. But it's just like even if any age can play it
right.
because you don't have to like. There's no strategy or there's luck involved, and it's like you just have to pass it, and then one person ends up with a whole pot with and you do card. It's a really
No
fun
wonder
game,
people are competitive at your house because you have money involved.
right?
It's
I
like
grew up like that.
sports
That is
gambling.
a style tradition from my dad's side of the family. They played for money, and when I was little, we would go for New Year's Eve to my dad's aunt's house or my great aunt's house, and like all his cousins, they had a huge family. My dad's mom had like 11 people in her family and
Wow.
her dad and his dad had like 12 people. So you can imagine how many aunts and uncles and cousins that is. It's a boatload of people. And I
Wow.
just remember like all the men would be up literally all night playing cards and we would just be anyway,
Crazy times.
cards are in the Guile side of the family like a must. Yeah, so we haven't done it in a while, but competitive,
Yeah.
yikes. But fun.
But yeah, so I think also this with the last couple of years, we've seen the importance of family, and I think it's easier now to be present with each other because we know it's a gift. We know that getting together, because some people can't get together because of what's going on. But I think we're more thankful and realize that this is, temporary. It's not going to last forever. And somebody told me once, like when they said, like when people are like, "Oh, I got to spend Christmas with my parents, if you sit there and you figure, okay, how many Christmases will I have left with my parents? When you put that number to it, you're like, okay, that makes a big
How
difference
many
and change.
Christmases do you have in your whole life with your parents? I
Right.
mean, there is a finite number to all of those things with your kids and your it seems like an endless lifetime. A lifetime is
Yeah.
a long time, hopefully, but when you look at it, it's like if you're only going to do something, say 60 times or like whatever, like it's not
Right.
that many. And
No, it's not.
and I think that making choices, just coming up with a couple choices for everybody, like what you're going to do with your phones,
Mhm.
planning some activities that are so in case there is, if you're not, everybody's just done chatting. We're
Right.
making a Christmas Eve. We're making a punch this year, so I'm assuming that that'll make everybody extra merry.
I bet. Yeah, knowing Rich, it probably will. Uh,
Yeah.
so a couple questions, a couple comments from the audience, and Jonathan goes, "You could gamble with pretzel sticks and M&Ms." We used to do that.
You
We
could.
used to do. We play. It was like Tripoli. It was like all these different card games, and you instead of chips, we'd have M&Ms, and that was a lot of fun. So that's a great suggestion, Jonathan. And then somebody, I'm not sure because it didn't come across, but for being present, I take more time to listen to my friends and my family members' stories during the dinner and take time to laugh with them. Being involved helped me being more present. That is great. Listening to stories and then asking questions it forces you to listen deeper. So those are great points. So Peg, this has been fun. Make sure you guys go
Yeah.
to this because it is all about fun at remarkablepeople.com. This episode, it was really, really good. I loved how she connected flow with creativity and gave some really great tips. And there's even some fun stuff at the end that you make sure you listen to all the way through. With that, do you have any final things other than Merry Christmas to everybody?
Nope, just Merry Christmas. Thanks for listening to the podcast all year and to coming to our live show every week. We appreciate you guys.
Yes. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.